Have you ever felt a switch flip? One week she's texting all day, the next she's busy and you can't explain why. You replay every moment, wonder what you said, and start bargaining with yourself. The harsh truth is simple. She was never a possession, only a moment that matched your energy. When you build your identity on her attention, you set yourself up to fall the second the moment changes. Tonight we are going to break that pattern. I'll show you how female desire follows feeling, not ownership, and how a man wins by mastering his frame, not by clinging to promises. Stick with me to the end, because one shift in how you see this can save you months of confusion and maybe your next relationship. If you want more clarity like this, subscribe to Stoic Truth, like the video, and lock in. This is not about blaming women. It is about building a man who cannot be shaken when feelings move on, and who becomes the kind of presence she chooses again and again. Point number 1, the ownership illusion. Think back to the first time you truly believed she was yours. Maybe it was when she reached for your hand in public, lacing her fingers through yours like she never wanted to let go. Or maybe it was when she called you her forever with that soft, trembling voice that made you feel like you were standing on solid ground for the first time in your life. Do you remember that feeling? That certainty? That quiet whisper in your head saying, "She's mine." But let me ask you something, was she really? It's easy to mistake gestures for ownership. The morning coffee she made for you, the smile when she wore your hoodie, the way she kissed you in front of her friends, all of it feels like proof. Proof that you've earned a permanent place in her heart. And yet deep down, haven't you also felt that flicker of doubt? That quiet fear that if you loosened your grip even just a little, she might slip away? See, the illusion of ownership is seductive because it makes you feel safe. It tells you that love is something you can lock down, something you can keep. But love has never worked that way. Love is a current. It flows, it shifts, it changes course. And when you start treating it like property, you forget what made her choose you in the first place. Have you ever noticed how attraction fades the moment comfort turns into complacency? You stop paying attention to the small details. You stop listening as deeply. You stop becoming. Why? Because in your mind you've already won, and that's where the illusion traps you. She doesn't want to be owned. She wants to be chosen over and over again by a man who never stops sharpening himself. Think about it. Wasn't it your hunger, your mystery, your energy that drew her in? And yet, how many men lose that edge once they believe she's secure by their side? Imagine a fire. The moment you stop feeding it, the flames die down. And then we sat there shocked, staring at cold ashes, asking ourselves, what happened? She said she loved me. But what if the real question is, did you mistake her presence for permanence? Here's the truth that stings but saves you later. She was never yours. Not her laughter, not her loyalty, not even her body in your arms. All of it was borrowed, shared in a moment where your energy aligned with hers. The moment you stopped embodying that energy, the illusion shattered. So let me ask you this. Are you living as if she belongs to you? Or are you living as if you must become the man who earns her desire every single day? Because when you cling to the illusion of ownership, you lose yourself. But when you let go of it, when you see her not as property but as a presence, suddenly, you stop fearing the day she walks away. You realize she was never a prize to keep. She was a mirror, showing you who you were in that season of her love. And the deeper question is, who are you becoming when the season changes? Point number 2, she belongs to the moment. Have you ever noticed how one moment with her can feel like the entire world? The way she leans into your chest, eyes closed, like you're the only safe place she's ever known. Or that night she whispered, "Don't ever leave me," and you believed it with your whole heart. In that instant, it felt eternal. It felt like you had captured something unshakable. But here's the question. Did you capture her or just the moment? See, women don't belong to a man the way we sometimes convince ourselves they do. They belong to the feeling you represent at that exact point in time. One week, you're her escape from the noise of the world. The next, you're the comfort of home. But feelings shift. Desires evolve. And when the energy you once embodied fades, so does her attachment. Think about it. Haven't you felt her mood shift without warning? One day she's laughing at everything you say. The next, her smile feels forced, her eyes distant, and you can't pinpoint what changed. That's because her loyalty isn't carved into stone. It's written in wet ink, smudging, fading, rewriting itself with every new wave of emotion. Does that mean she's heartless? No, it means she's human. A woman's heart follows her present emotional world, not yesterday's promises, That's why men who cling to forever get blindsided. They confuse the depth of today's passion with the guarantee of tomorrow's presence. So let me ask you, are you holding on to her? Or to the version of yourself she once responded to? The truth is, she's not staying for your name, your titles, or even your history together. She stays for the energy you embody right now. And when that energy goes stale, when you stop becoming, she feels it before you even realize it. She doesn't detach to hurt you. She detaches because biology won't let her stay stagnant. That's why some of the deepest breakups feel like betrayal. You wake up beside the same woman, but emotionally she's already gone. And you're left wondering what happened. What happened was the moment shifted and you didn't shift with it. Here's the painful but liberating truth. She never belonged to you. She belonged to the moment you created together. And when that moment died, so did her desire. So the question for you isn't, how do I make her stay? The real question is, am I living in a way that creates moments worth staying for? Because when you stop trying to own her and start becoming the man who evolves with every season, you stop fearing the loss. And instead of chasing yesterday's memory, you begin embodying today's presence. And that is the man she can't help but keep choosing. Point number 3, options in her orbit. Let me ask you something. Did you ever believe, even for a moment, that you were the only one she truly wanted? That no one else could possibly compete with what you shared? Maybe it was the way she looked at you across the table, like you were the only man in the room. Or the way she told you, I don't want anyone else, just you. In that moment, you felt untouchable. But here's the reality. Most men never want to admit you were never her only option. You were simply her favorite one for now. Think about it. Every woman, no matter how committed she seems, has people orbiting around her. It could be the coworker who laughs too hard at her jokes, the just friend who's secretly waiting for a green light, the ex who lingers in the shadows, the stranger sliding into her DMs late at night. Some of them she ignores. Some of them she entertains with harmless smiles. But they're all there. Silent options, potential replacements. Does that make her disloyal? Not necessarily. It makes her human. Because just like you notice women in the background of your life, she notices men in hers. The difference is this: those options become attractive the moment you stop being the best one. Have you ever felt it? At first she texts you with excitement, eager to hear from you. Then slowly the replies get shorter. Busy becomes a common excuse. Conversations that once flowed turn into dead ends. You start to feel like you're competing with something unseen. And you are. You're competing with her evolving emotions and the men orbiting, waiting to catch her when she slips away from you. So here's the question. Did she really change? Or did you simply stop being the most magnetic presence in her world? Most men panic when they sense this shift. They cling harder, call more, beg for reassurance. But what does that energy tell her? That you're losing ground. That she has more value than you. That you're replaceable and you know it. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who sees himself as powerless. But the man who thrives in this truth is different. He knows she has options. He accepts it. And instead of fearing those options, he focuses on becoming the version of himself that no option can compete with. The man with purpose. The man who doesn't give away every ounce of his time. The man who can walk away without flinching. That's the man she can't forget even when surrounded by a crowd. So let me ask you, are you the man orbiting around her desperate for attention? Or are you the man at the center of your own universe, so strong in your frame that she orbits around you? Because in the end, it was never about removing her options. It was about becoming the option she never dares to replace. Point number 4, entitlement versus attraction. Do you remember that stage in the beginning when every detail about her felt electric? You noticed her laugh, her favorite drink, the way her eyes lit up when you surprised her. You listened. You leaned in. You were alive in her presence. That energy pulled her closer, because she felt chosen, not assumed. But then something shifted, didn't it? Over time, comfort turned into entitlement. You stopped noticing the small things. You stopped putting in the same effort. You believed she was yours, permanently secured. And that belief quietly killed the attraction that first brought her to you. Let me ask you, how many times have you caught yourself expecting her to always be there simply because she once said she would? How many times have you assumed love was enough to hold her without realizing attraction requires fuel? Entitlement whispers lies. It tells you, I've already won. I don't need to keep showing up. But attraction doesn't live in the past, it lives in the present. It feeds on growth, on attention, on the fire of a man who keeps becoming. Think about it. The moment you start believing she belongs to you, your edge dulls. You relax into routine, you stop leading and start coasting. And slowly she feels it. That magnetic pull that once made her lean closer begins to fade. Not because she's ungrateful, but because her desire is wired to respond to presence, not entitlement. Have you ever looked back on a breakup and realized that somewhere along the way, you stopped being the man she first fell for? That instead of choosing her daily, you assumed yesterday's efforts guaranteed today's loyalty? That's the quiet cost of entitlement. Here's the paradox. The more you cling to ownership, the less she wants to stay. The more you assume her loyalty, the less inspired she feels to give it. But when you remain the man who grows, who leads, who sharpens himself, she never feels taken for granted. She feels chosen, and that's where attraction thrives. So I'll ask you, are you showing up as the man she once couldn't stop chasing? Or have you settled into the comfort of assuming she'll always be there? Because attraction dies where entitlement begins. And the men who understand this don't hold on to women through possession, they inspire them through presence. And here's the truth most men miss. She doesn't want to be owned. She wants to be earned again and again and again. Point number 5. Build frame, not dependence. Think back to a time when you made her your entire world. Maybe it was the early days. Every notification from her lit you up. Every plan revolved around her. Every silence felt like a storm. You told yourself, this is love. But deep down, was it really love or was it dependence? Let me ask you honestly, how much of your happiness, your self-worth, your identity have you ever handed over to a woman? And what happened the moment she pulled back? Did your world feel like it was collapsing? Did you feel like you were losing not just her, but yourself? That's the danger of dependence. It puts your entire sense of value in someone else's hands, and the moment they step away, you break. Now compare that to a man with a frame. His frame is his world, his values, his purpose, his standards. He doesn't bend them to please her. He invites her into it, but whether she stays or leaves, the frame remains. That's power. That's stability. That's what makes her respect him. Here's the paradox. The more dependent you are on her for validation, the less she feels attracted to you. Why? Because dependence feels heavy. It suffocates. It tells her, without you, I am nothing. And no woman wants to carry that weight. But when you stand firm in your frame, when you live from purpose, protect your time, hold your standards, she feels something completely different. She feels the magnetic pull of a man who doesn't need her but still chooses her. That's what creates lasting attraction. Think of it like this. Dependence says, I can't live without you. Frame says, I was whole before you. I will be whole after you. But while you're here, we can build something unforgettable. Which of those statements feels more powerful to you? Which one would she rather follow? So let me ask you, are you building a frame so strong that she wants to step into it, or are you collapsing your world around her presence? Because dependence weakens you. Frame elevates you. Dependence chases. Frame attracts. Dependence clings. Frame invites. And here's the truth. The woman in your life is not looking for another dependent child. She's looking for a man with a world so grounded, so alive that she feels privileged to be a part of it. So are you building your frame or are you building your prison? Point number 6. Detachment that commands respect. Think about the last time you felt her slipping away. Maybe she grew colder in her texts. Maybe she stopped laughing at your jokes. Maybe she pulled back with that vague excuse, I just need space. What did you do? Did you chase? Did you try to explain yourself? Prove your worth? Remind her of all the memories you shared? Be honest, did any of that bring her closer? Or did it push her further away? Here's the paradox most men never see. The more you cling, the weaker you appear. The more you detach, the stronger you become. And no, detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean becoming cold or bitter. It means you stop making her the source of your stability. It means your center of gravity isn't tied to her moods, her choices, or her presence. The detachment says, I choose you, but I do not need you. Ask yourself, what kind of man earns more respect? The one who pleads for her not to leave, or the one who can look her in the eye and let her go without flinching? Detachment commands respect because it signals strength. It tells her you are not ruled by fear. You are not ruled by loss. You are ruled by yourself. And that kind of man, calm, grounded, unshaken, is the man she can't forget. Have you ever noticed how attraction often returns right when you stop chasing? It's not magic. It's psychology. When you detach, you restore polarity. You show her that your world does not collapse without her, and that paradoxically makes her want to step back into it. But here's the real beauty of detachment. It's not about controlling her. It's about mastering yourself. Because once you no longer fear losing her, you walk differently. You speak differently. You lead differently. You become the man whose respect is worth earning. So let me ask you, are you living as if her presence defines you? Or are you strong enough to walk away, knowing your value does not change whether she stays or goes? Because when you detach, you stop being the man who begs for love, and you become the man who commands it through respect. Point number 7, evolve or get replaced. Do you remember who you were when she first wanted you? Think about it. Maybe you were ambitious, chasing goals with fire in your eyes. Maybe you had mystery, confidence, that edge that made her lean in closer because she couldn't quite figure you out. That version of you pulled her in. That version lit the spark. But here's the truth most men ignore. If you stay the same man you were on day 1, you'll lose her by day 1000. Why? Because women don't fall in love with who you were. They stay in love with who you keep becoming. And the moment you stop growing, the moment you stop evolving, you become predictable, routine, safe, and in her world, safe eventually means replaceable. Have you felt it before? That slow shift where her excitement dulls, where conversations feel recycled, where she doesn't look at you with the same spark? That's not because she's cruel. It's because her desires have evolved and you haven't. So let me ask you, are you still the man she first fell for, or have you become a faded photograph of him? This is the brutal truth. In her orbit, there's always another man ready to take your place. A man who sparks curiosity, a man who embodies growth, a man who challenges her emotions in ways you no longer do. If you stop evolving, you leave space for him to step in. But here's the flip side. The man who keeps sharpening himself never loses power. He stays relevant, he stays magnetic, he stays the flame she keeps reaching for, even when surrounded by other lights. So this isn't just about relationships. This is about you. Are you becoming better every season, stronger, wiser, more disciplined? Or are you clinging to the comfort of who you used to be? Because if you don't evolve, she will. And when she does, you'll watch her drift toward someone else who reflects the man you stopped being. It's harsh, but it's freeing. Because it puts the power back in your hands. You don't control her desires, but you control your growth. You control whether you stay the man worth chasing, or the man she outgrows. So I'll ask you one final time. Are you evolving, or are you waiting to be replaced? Point number 8. Walk away. Calm, not broken. Picture this. She's standing in front of you, saying the words you always feared. I just don't feel the same anymore. Your chest tightens. Your throat burns. The memories flood in. The nights you held her close. The promises whispered. The laughter that once filled your world. In that moment, every instinct in you screams to fight, to plead, to do anything to make her stay. But let me ask you, has that ever truly worked? The men who break in that moment, the ones who beg, who rage, who stalk, who spiral, lose more than just her. They lose themselves, because their identity was built on her presence, not on their own strength. Now imagine another scene, same heartbreak, same goodbye. But instead of crumbling, you breathe. You look her in the eyes, you nod, and you let her go. Not because you don't care, but because you refuse to let someone else decide your worth. That calm, do you know what it does? It commands respect, even from the woman walking away, because she expects chaos, but what she finds is a man who will not be ruled by loss. Walking away calm doesn't mean you didn't love her. It means you love yourself more than the illusion of ownership. It means you understand that her chapter in your life was a season, not your entire story. Have you ever considered that the pain you feel after a breakup isn't just about losing her, but about losing the version of yourself you were when she loved you? That's why it cuts so deep. But here's the beauty. You can become someone even greater, someone she or anyone else cannot take away. So the next time love fades, ask yourself, will you break and bleed for something that was never promised? Or will you walk away with your dignity intact, eyes forward, already becoming more? Because when you walk away calm, not broken, you don't just survive, you rise. And that rise is something no woman, no loss, and no goodbye can ever take from you. At the end of the day, this isn't just about women, or relationships, or heartbreak. It's about you, the man who chooses whether to live chained to illusions, or to rise above them with clarity and strength. Every point we've walked through in this video was never meant to tear women down. but to build you up. To remind you that your worth doesn't come from who stays or who leaves, but from the man you become in the process. If this message resonated with you, I want to take a moment to thank you for watching. Truly, your time here matters, and the fact that you chose to sit with these words tells me you're already on the path most men never dare to walk. You're not just a viewer, you're part of a community of men learning to stand taller, think clearer, and live stronger. If you found value in this, consider subscribing to Stoic
Truth and liking this video. It helps.
Bring more brothers into the conversation. And if you've lived through moments like the ones we've talked about, share your story in the comments. Your perspective might be the words another man needs to hear. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.